Oh, you can't see it. Okay, I was so scared you guys are gonna see like the piles of books I have on my floor, but you can't. So. Oh my god, my hair is a mess. Please forgive me. I literally slept with my hair wet last night, and according to my mom and my grandma, that means I'm gonna get sick. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. It's me, it's Natalie. I'm putting on my jewelry right now, so please bear with me. Hello. So today I want to film my February wrap up. I haven't done one of these in so long, and so long as if I didn't do one in December, but like consistently I haven't done one. So I'm really excited to get back to it. I read 7 books in February. I kept to my TBR. Look at me, I'm a TBR gal now. And I'm excited, you know, I love it. I haven't done my TBR game for March yet, so that hopefully I will do maybe after this one. So if you see me wearing the same things, mind your business. When you're living in a Latino household, you have to stockpile your videos. And that means sometimes you wear the same thing 2-3 times because you're just filming them back to back. What do you want me to say? Okay, so let's get into it. So yeah, so I read 7 books in February, ranging from 1 stars to 5 stars. And I read some Kindle Unlimited because I got a new Kindle Unlimited. And again, I don't have it with me, it's in my bed. I love it. I think that really is helping me get back into reading Kindle Unlimited just because I have the subscription and I haven't canceled it, even though I've gone like months without reading it. So I'm getting back into it. And then when I check out books on my Libby, I send it to my Kindle to read. So not on my phone or my iPad. So it all works out. Okay, so let's just get into it. It's not dilly-dally too much. Wow, I haven't said that in a long time. That's leftover coffee from yesterday. And it's not good, but I need caffeine. Let's start with Kindle Unlimited. Let's get that out of the way. So I read 1 Kindle Unlimited book, and then I read 2 that I borrowed from my Libby. So the first one that I read was Twisted Love. Yes, Twisted Love by Ana Huang. And this one I am filming a vlog, so you're gonna see me talking about it in depth in another one as I'm progressing to the story. So basically, also you can hear like the trash just getting picked up outside. So anyway, so that one follows our main character Ava, and she has grown up with some trauma from her past life, from her childhood, and pretty much her dad is not really in her life. Her mom, I think, died, and so she's pretty much was raised and is being protected by her older brother. And her older brother has this best friend called Alex, and he really is like he's also had some really messed up things happen to him when he was younger, and because of that he's very callous, he's very mean, he's very rough, he's very like, I hate literally everybody. Josh, that's her best friend. I mean that's her older brother. I don't know if I said that, but her older brother goes away for I think a year, and he's just so like, he just loves his sister so much, and he's so overprotective of her that he ends up telling his best friend Alex to move in to his house, which is right next door to hers, for a year, just to keep an eye on her and everything. So Alex does, because Alex loves his best friend. Alex loves his best friend. Like, you know, like as much as he can love someone, he loves his best friend. So he's like, whatever, I'll do this for her. I'll do this for you. And then stuff happens. They just get close, Ava and Alex, and they end up falling in love and everything. So it really is like the trope, my brother's best friend, and I hate everybody in the world but you, all of that. Like, I will literally burn the world down if you get her. Good, right? It sounds interesting. However, I didn't really like a lot of things. I feel like we didn't really get into the story of Alex and Ava, first of all. And I feel like a lot of the stuff that was being shown to us was very general, very like glossed over. So when we saw like they were in love and they were happy and they were really professing their love to each other, I was like, how? I was like, we didn't really see them falling in love. So I don't really like that. I didn't really like how she was a little bit too submissive to Alex, like outside of the bedroom. I feel like she could have stood up for herself a lot more when they were just like day to day. And I hated the twist that happened at the end. Like at the 50% mark, I was like, oh, this just isn't for me. But I just kept going. So I already DNF'd after once. I was like, I don't want to DNF it again. So let me just push through. And when they started getting to like the 70% more, like 30% mark, where like it was like twists and turns, I was like, this just literally makes no sense at all. The writing is bad and I don't like it. So I'm literally just skimming now. And I was thinking of going through like the rest of the series because each of the books follows Ava's girl group friend. There's 4 of them, so there's gonna be 4 parts in this book. And Mina from Mina Reads just read Josh and what's her name? Her best friend. It's her best friend. It's the one that they think looks like Jessica Rabbit. Oh, I don't know what her name is. Josh and her. And Mina said it was like, I was like watching Instagram stories that she was like saying that it's so good, but then the ending of the book like was really bad. And so now I'm like, okay, so she just does that, like the author just does that, where like suddenly her ending just takes turns and everybody's like, what the hell does this mean? So I don't know if I'm gonna continue it because the next one's about Bridget the princess and her bodyguard. So I don't know. It's on Kindle Unlimited though, so I'm like. And then okay, so the next 2 books. Oh, so I gave that one 1 star. The next 2 books are by Nikki Sloan. She was the first Nikki Sloan's books I read. I never read The Initiation that everybody's like crazy. So I had gone on Instagram and said that I really, really loved Birthday Girl, right? By Penelope Douglas. I love those tropes. I love the whole like, I just loved it. I loved it. I loved the age gap difference. I loved it. And then somebody, when I was still on Twitter, somebody had told me, because I was like, oh my God, I want more books about this, like this kind of trope, all of that. And somebody was like, you should look into Mariana Zapata books. Like they're really good. And I had picked up Kulti. And I literally, this was like 2 years ago, right? So like nobody was really like, the people that I was like watching on book Twitter, like nobody was really reading Mariana Zapata yet. So I was like, okay, like nobody warned me that she's literally the queen of slow burn. Like I was reading on Kindle, so I literally like on the little tab bar, I literally went to like 50% mark and they hadn't even like kissed yet. I was like, oh wow. So I put it down because I just wasn't in the mood for it. And so I was telling all this story on Instagram, and one of my friends, Erin from Book Nip Busy, she told me, she was like, if you're really in the mood for this kinds of tropes, you should look at Nikki Sloan's The Pool Boy and the Doctor. Like they're really good. Like I've heard that that they're like exactly what you're looking for, and people have really liked it. So I was like sold. So I checked it out on Libby, and then my hold finally came through this month. So basically this follows, I don't know what the series is called, but it's like Nashville and something. And basically it's just like this like suburb in Nashville, and everybody is like going through like crazy kinky stuff, and it just follows like different people that they're kind of semi-connected to each other, so like you see them in each other's stories in the background. So it's really cool because in the first book you can see the couple in the second book as they're like happy now and they're like, you know, in love and everything. So I read it out of order. I read the second book first and then I read the first book, which I kind of regret, but not really. Yeah, I do kind of regret because maybe I could have enjoyed the first book more because the second book was fantastic. So the first book is The Doctor, and this one follows our main characters, Greg and Cassie. And Cassidy is Euphoria, sorry. Cassidy and Greg. And basically Cassie is kind of like in Birthday Girl, like Jordan and Pike. Cassidy is dating Greg's son, and Cassidy's like 19, I think, and like his son, Greg's son, treats Cassidy horribly, like disgustingly bad. And basically she finally sent up for herself and she's like, it's time, I'm gonna break up with you. So she breaks up with him, and right away she like gets with the dad, and it's pretty much just that, like their story of them overcoming their guilt and trying to find a way that they could be together and coming out to like their friends and their family and to Greg's son, right, Cassidy's ex-boyfriend. It was good. The angst I feel like could have been more, just considering like the setup, right? Like it's just, the angst could have been way better, but it was there. There was almost communication. It was just really like, we can't be together just because there's like too many things in our way. And then finally like Greg's like, no, but I love you, so we're gonna be together. The smut was good. There was moments where I was kind of like, I was kind of like, okay, it was like too much. It was like going too long. So I was like, the dialogue was okay. That's saying like everything was okay. That's why I think I gave it 3 stars. But maybe if I hadn't just read the second book, it would have been maybe like a 3.5. So the second one is fantastic. And I don't know what Nikki Sloan did from the first to the second book, but the second one is fantastic. I gave it 4 stars. It is so good. So that one follows the neighbor of Greg, and it's, what's her name? What is her name? So we have what's the guy's name? Oh, Troy. We have Troy and I don't know what her name is. Troy and the woman. Oh my God, I don't know what her name is. And basically she just found out that her husband was cheating on her with his business partner. Yeah, with the guy. And pretty much she has been divorced for like a year. She's been separated for a year, recently been divorced, and Troy is the pool boy. It's called the pool boy. And they just start going at it with each other. And the sex scenes, I think because they're like smaller, they're like shorter, and they're just steamier, I guess, just because everything's like so heightened and everything's so like frantic. And I was like, oh, this is giving now. And the dialogue is fantastic. The actual problems that we get are real like problems. Like I'm like, oh my god, like this actually I can see that happening with an older woman, younger man. And he's like 24 in this one, so he's even a little bit more, I think he's 24. He's like more, I guess, grown up. And in the first one, I think I didn't like the fact that, like, honestly, whatever, you know, like I have my stances about a lot of age gap stuff. But I didn't like the fact that Cassidy was 19, because there were so many times where she had to like lie, you know, like fake IDs, stuff like that, because she was 19 and she's out of curfew and all that. And I feel like that one is just like, that I don't like. I feel like that's just like, it makes him seem too childish. And then you get into the whole like, okay, so now you're taking advantage of her because she's like so childish, right? It's just like, I don't know. I didn't really like that. But if she was like 19, but she was like independent and she was like living her own stuff, like I'm like, you know what, go off, right? Because when I was 19, I was still in a very much childish, like child mindset. But my roommate in college, she was very much, she had been paying her bills since she was 18. She has living on like, she was very much an adult, right? So I was like, yeah, no, like you can be different, like if you're in a different environment. So I didn't really like that. But Troy seemed more mature, obviously. And then there was like kind of like a miscommunication at the end that was amazing. I don't know, I just really liked the second one more. I thought it was more grown up, I thought it was more mature, and that actually, that the second one made me a fan of Nikki Sloan. That's why I checked out the initiation. I had started the initiation, I didn't have to. But after the second one, after the second book, The Pool Boy, I will go back and read that one. Don't really recommend The Doctor, but The Pool Boy, highly recommend. So those are my Kindle books. Okay, so then let me just do this one really quickly because I haven't really talked about it. I mean, I talked about it, that's why it's in the vlog there. This one is going to be in the same vlog where I talked about Twisted Love. So this one is The Hating Game, obviously by Sally Thorne. This was mine and my friend Jarl's Chicken's book club pick. We selected it obviously because it's February, the month of love. And pretty much this follows our, I feel like everybody in the book community has read this. And it's pretty much, I want to say it's 90% love it, 10% hate it, and I'm in the 10%. I give this one 2 stars. So this one follows our 2 main characters, and they pretty much are hate to love. They're rivals, right? Because they're in the same publishing company, and they're up for the same position as like CEO or something. And pretty much they said that if the other person gets it, they hate them so much that they are going to quit. And they do. They have like, not that they do quit, but like they do have like, when we say the hating game, they do have those kinds of games with each other. That was really cool. So like I told my friend, and like I've been telling everybody, up until the 25% mark, it was so good. It was so good. It was so good. I was like, oh my god, they're really like, they hate each other. Like they have this burning hate for each other. I was like, I'm sold, right? Cool, 100%. Let's get it. And then they kissed, right? The elevator kiss. And I hadn't thought that there was enough of a build-up or enough hints being dropped to warrant that. And I feel like for me, that's where they lost me, because at that point I was like, she's suddenly obsessed with him, but like she hated him like 2 pages ago. So I was like, that's not how it works. And if you're gonna give me hate to love, give me the 2. Don't just do hate love, like give me the 2, like gradually getting to hate to love, right? Didn't like that. And then I didn't like how they were just not good characters. Like they were just so annoying. Like he was just insufferable, and she was just like quirky, pick me girls. I was like, I don't care that you're 4 feet. I'm 5'2", and I don't go around reminding everybody that 90% of the population is taller than me. Like, I'm sorry. So it's just like, I didn't like that. And I think that there's some weird size kink going on, and not in a good way in this book. So that is what my thoughts are on that. I don't recommend it to people. I'm sorry, but like I said, it doesn't even matter, because I'm like one of the last people to ever read these books, because everybody has read it. I'm not gonna watch the movie. I told my friend I was, but I'm not going to, because I don't want to put myself through this entire story again. So I'm gonna tell her that I didn't. I literally stopped tabbing the moment they kissed in the elevator scene. Like I was tabbing a lot, and then they kissed, and I was like, I'm done with this book now. Now I'm done. Now I'm only reading because my friend, like, we're reading it together, so I'm gonna stick to our buddy read, to our book club. But I don't like this book. So 2 stars, don't like it. I read like my first book of February. I read For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. Oh, I still have something in here. For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. We have 2 main characters. We have Teddy and Zach. Teddy is the professor at this private academy, and he hates his job. He loves teaching, but he hates teaching there because they're all privileged, they're all entitled, and they're all brats. And Zach is one of those students, and from his point of view, you can tell how he's pretty much like, yeah, he's kind of a brat, but he has good intentions, right? Like, he's just like going through, like, he's just a teenager, right? I loved reading this book. I thought it was really interesting. I gave this one 3 or 3.5 stars. I thought it was really good in that there was a lot of twists, there was a lot of turns, right? So basically that happens, and then Teddy is insane. Teddy's like our villain, and he just starts poisoning people, and that just kind of like spirals and like rolls into bigger messes and bigger problems, and it just gets insane. I liked it. I thought the only reason why I didn't give it 4 stars is because poisoning, right? Like, it's just like, that's crazy. Like, that's too like unbelievable to me. But once I got past that and just stuck to like the fun of the story, I still enjoyed it. That's why I didn't give it like 2 stars. I still enjoyed it. I think it's good. I thought it was really interesting to see it from like the villain. He's not really a villain, but like from like the villain, the anti-hero point of view. The writing was okay. It wasn't like too crazy, too complex, but I think that people who are in a good mood for a dark academia, because this is a dark academia, and it's good. I think there was a good healthy balance of, because there was a lot of characters, there's a lot of different points of views. So I thought there was a good balance between character driven and plot. So I thought it was good. And this was actually our January, this was our January Daryl's Chickens book club pick, but I didn't read it until the first week of February. I think I read it like February 2nd or something, like the first couple of days, because I was like, oh shoot. So yeah, this was our January pick of Daryl's Chickens. For our March pick, we're doing the Karen Slaughter book, the new one, False Witness. So that's gonna be fun. Okay, and then my last 2 books are 5-star reads. Okay, so let's start with this one. So this one is Winter's Orbit by Verena Maxwell. This was Everina Maxwell. This was in my TBR and I finished it. So this one is a sci-fi, and we have this, it's kind of like Star Wars, but not really, because the main plot isn't centered around like a rebellion, really. It's just, we have an empire and they just have like different planets under their control. It's very politics, right? Because they're all trying to make sure that, like, the emperor is trying to make sure that all of them stay under the empire's control. So we have our main character, Kiam, and he is one of the grandchilds of the emperor, and he's been a problem child, and the emperor calls him in, and she says that he is going to have to marry one of his cousin's husband, Janaine. And he's like, what? And they're like, oh yeah, because your cousin died. And he's like, what? So pretty much they have to make sure that Janaine's like home planet, sticks to their alliance and sticks under the empire's rule. So they need to make sure that he gets married right away. And Kiam, they want to make sure that he is still good, because he kind of fixed up his reputation, and so what better way than to tie him down, right? So we have Kiam and Janaine, and they are pretty much, it's very much an arranged marriage situation. So at the same time, right, so they're trying to figure that out. At the same time, they're dealing with the politics of everything, of making sure that they are believable and, you know, selling their marriage. And also at the same time, they have to figure out if Janaine's ex-husband, Kiam's cousin, was murdered. So it's like 3 different subplots happening, but the one that really told me what's romance, I'm sorry, it was so freaking good because there was so much miscommunication. If you don't like miscommunication, you're not gonna like this book, because the whole premise, like the whole like start, like literally their first interactions with each other is like miscommunication, right? Because Kiam doesn't think that Janaine wants to open up to him, doesn't want to like be with him, because he truly loved Kiam's cousin, and obviously like, not truly love, but like, you know, like they were married for like 5 years, like there was something there. And Janaine doesn't think that Kiam wants him, because Kiam was, of course, like a problem child, but he was like loved by the media because he was kind of like a playboy, like he was like so good. So Janaine's like, why would he like want to be with me, because I'm boring? And they're both very much like, they're attracted to each other, but they don't want to make a first step because of that. And there was like some stumblings in the beginning where like they tried to kiss, but like it wasn't happening because they just got too wrapped up in their minds. But when they finally got together, amazing, show-stopping. The only bad thing about this was, like literally the only bad thing about this was how complex the world was. And the author does a thing where they, I don't know their pronouns, I'm gonna say they, where they info dump at the very beginning of the book, and it was a lot of like flipping back and forth to make sure I still remembered what because the emperor, when it starts off with the emperor telling Kim about this whole like arranged marriage thing, and at the same time she basically like reminds Kim of like their arrangement, like the empire and like the alliance and all that, and I was like, what? And so I was thinking of maybe like putting it down then, but I powered through and I'm so happy I did. Literally one of my best books of 2022. Like it was so good. It was really, really good. And it's a standalone, which kind of sucks. I wanted to see more about Kim and Janae. And I'm literally gonna buy this in like, this is a library book. I'm literally gonna go out and buy my own copy because it's so freaking good. So I highly recommend it if you're a sci-fi. It's not for beginners, I don't think so. Because like I said, it's very complex. There was moments where I literally like felt my eyes glazing over as they like steered away a little bit from the romance to get back into like politics and like who killed the cousin. So I was kind of like, what? But it's manageable. It's doable. And then finally, I read Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. So Karen Slaughter, I feel like, is becoming one of, if not like, no, just one of my favorite like holy grail, well, not really holy grail, she has a lot of backlist like titles that I haven't read yet, but for sure a holy grail like mystery thriller author. This one is the one that everybody warns everybody about. They're like, if you're gonna pick up one Karen Slaughter book, you should read this one because this one is actually insane, but you should be careful because this is literally like gruesome, insane, like, oh my god. The way that Katie Colson, she because she read both, right? So the way that she said like these two was, this one is pretty much like you're walking down a street and it's dark and somebody just like, you know, somebody's following you, like that fear that you have, you're like, oh my god, like this is it, right? This one is if you're sitting in a public place and a guy just comes to sit next to you and just puts his hand on your knee and you're just like, I don't know what's happening right now. This one is very more like this one, they should have said it more subtle in the terror. This one's very more like in your face in the terror, and it's very true. So this one we have our two sisters oh my god, what's her name? I literally was not Chloe, is it Chloe? Claire and Lydia. So Lydia is so they have an older sister, Julia. No, Julia disappeared early on and they don't know where she went. They don't know if she's dead. They don't know if she ran away. And Lydia and Claire have pretty much had to live with their like older sister dying. They pretty much have come to terms with their dying because they're like early on, and Claire has pretty much dealt with it in her own way and she became a trophy wife, and Lydia became like a drug addict, rehab, all of that. And so we open up with Claire's husband dying and she's pretty much spiraling from there. And then we have Lydia, who has cleaned herself up because she had a daughter. And Claire, when she goes through her stuff, because the police are trying to figure out like who killed her husband, she finds these really disturbing videos of just, I can't even say it, like just really disturbing videos that her husband has on his computer, and she gets freaked out and she's like, I don't know what the hell's happening, so I'm gonna call Lydia in, like I need my big sister. So Lydia comes in and they haven't talked for like 20 years, like they are literally estranged. And then we start finding out like crazy stuff. Pretty much, it's pretty just much that. Like it starts off with those videos and then it just progresses to everything. Like we just start like unraveling this like bigger conspiracy, bigger thing that Claire's husband was involved in, the police department, like insane. And then like at some point, like their sister, like it's crazy, it's insane. Trigger warnings to the max. Karen Slaughter does not hold back, and I loved it. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I gave it 5 stars. It was superb. I think that this is a very good, just a good book because nothing was too extreme, nothing was too out there, but the ending was just so satisfying that literally I was reading this in the train and I was like trying to like not like scream like yes, like because I was like so like just satisfied. I was like, you go Claire. I was like, yes. So I loved it. I thought it was really good. I highly recommend it to anybody who is just a thriller mystery fan. I think you will love this. Please just be careful with this because it is very much in your face fear, and she really does describe to a T all the bad things that were done to these girls. So like insane. So really good. So overall I think I had a good reading month. 7 books, that's not bad. That's not bad, you know. I had some duds for sure, but I had some good ones. Oh, that's it. So I hope you guys like this video. I will now film my March TBR, so if you see me wearing the same thing, please mind your business. So I will catch you guys in the next one. Stay safe and go reach your favorite book for me.